The first thing that struck me was the suffocating stench that clawed at my senses. Not of cake, not of fresh flowers, but of damp, matted dog fur, heavy with the weight of secrets untold. With every agonizing step into the garden, my knees screamed in protest, the soft grass greedily enveloping my weary feet, as if it were a treacherous trap waiting to ensnare me. I forced a smile, a mere shadow of joy, a flicker of hope in a world that felt so dark. On the precipice of my 80th birthday, I stand, a tapestry of a full life woven behind me, yet within me flickers a quiet hope, a whisper against the shadows of time. Perhaps, just perhaps, they would finally grasp the depth of my significance in their lives. Balloons danced ominously in the wind, while guests flitted about the folding tables, their laughter mingling with the glint of gold foil decorations, a facade of joy masking the tension in the air. There he was, my son Mark, standing by the grill, his laughter echoing like thunder. Too loud, too vibrant, piercing through the air with an unsettling intensity. My daughter-in-law Claire loomed in the shadows, capturing fleeting moments with her friends, oblivious to my presence, lost in her own world. And then, in a moment that felt like an eternity, I saw it. My chair. A throne of solitude, a seat of secrets, where every creak whispers tales untold. It stands, unwavering, in the shadows of my existence, a silent witness to the chaos that unfolds around it. What drama lies within its embrace? What stories linger in the fabric, waiting to be unleashed? Oh, my chair, you hold the weight of my world. The very one I have always relied upon. The one cloaked in layers of unexpected softness. The very one they swore would be mine to hold, forever out of reach. It stood there, a striking centerpiece beneath the grand canopy, mere inches away from the towering three-tiered cake, commanding attention and whispers of intrigue. Every gaze in the room would be riveted to that chair during the toast, yet, to everyone's astonishment, someone was already occupying it. Or perhaps, something more sinister lurks in the shadows. A creature of boundless energy and unwavering loyalty, a Labrador stands as a testament to the depths of companionship, its eyes gleaming with an unspoken promise of adventure and love. Bentley. The name echoes like a thunderclap in the silence, a harbinger of secrets untold and destinies intertwined. Adorned with a dazzling birthday hat that glimmers with every flicker of light. My jaw clenched in a vice of tension. I blinked twice, my heart racing, convinced that this had to be some cruel illusion. Perhaps, just perhaps, someone had placed him there as a cruel jest, if only for a fleeting moment. Desperation clawed at my insides as I scanned the room, searching for a savior to unravel the chaos. Claire? Perhaps. Or the innocent eyes of my granddaughter, little Annie, might hold the key to this enigma. Yet, amidst the chaos and clamour, I remained invisible, a ghost haunting the edges of their awareness. Not until I summoned the courage to clear my throat, the tension thick in the air. Thunderous. 3 times. The echo of that number reverberates through the air, heavy with anticipation and dread. What fate awaits? What secrets lie beneath the surface? The tension is palpable, a storm brewing on the horizon. In that electrifying moment, Mark's gaze pierced through the chaos, and he finally saw me. "Oh, my dear mother," he summoned with a languid drawl. "Oh, how relieved I am that you emerged from the shadows unscathed. Seize a chair if you dare. One lurks ominously by the recycling bin, waiting for you to claim it." With a sweeping motion, he pointed dramatically to the distant edge of the yard, as if unveiling a hidden truth lurking in the shadows. A flimsy, wretched plastic stool, a mere shadow of its intended purpose. Alas, there is no backrest to be found. My gaze pierced through him, a silent storm brewing in the depths of my soul. "But that is my seat." He spun around, his gaze fixated on the grill, as if it held the secrets of the universe within its fiery embrace. Bentley has seen better days, yearning for solace. Yet somehow, you'll find a way to endure. I stood paralyzed, my heart pounding in my chest. Could it be that my ears deceived me? The guests erupted into laughter, their eyes wide with disbelief at Claire's audacious remark. Not a single soul cast a glance in my direction. Not a single soul stirred from their seat. I stumbled toward the stool, each step heavy with anticipation. With every agonizing step, the pain intensified, a relentless crescendo of torment, echoing through the very core of existence. I sat, isolated from the refuge of shade, the relentless sun searing into my scalp, a fiery torment that felt almost like a betrayal. On the day that was meant to celebrate me, in the very heart of my home, my cherished chair, oh the betrayal, was surrendered to the dog, a twist of fate, a cruel jest. How could this be? My birthday, reduced to a mere backdrop for a canine throne. I fixed my gaze forward, heart pounding, as they lifted their glasses in a toast, the air thick with unspoken tension. 80 years, Claire cried out, her voice echoing with a mix of disbelief and urgency. I remained silent, but within, a fracture emerged, silently, akin to the gradual unravelling of wallpaper after a deluge. Something long buried, something razor-edged, clawing its way back to the surface. I whipped my head around and beheld her. Lucy. Teetering on the precipice of the garden, a world of secrets and shadows unfolds. My nurse, the unsung hero in the shadows of despair, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos, wielding compassion like a sword against the darkness of illness. My sole companion, the one who stands by me in the shadows of despair. Her face, a mask of serenity, betrayed nothing. Her head tilted ever so slightly, a mere whisper of acknowledgement that sent shivers down my spine. In that electrifying moment, clarity struck like lightning. I refused to meet my end within these walls, consumed by this torment, and I would never entrust it to their hands. In a twist of fate so cruel, they bestowed my cherished chair upon a mere dog. Yet, I would surrender the house to her, without a second thought. As the sun sank beneath the horizon, it unleashed a cascade of elongated shadows that crept ominously across the lawn, whispering secrets of the encroaching night. Children pursued the shimmering orbs of joy, their laughter echoing like a haunting melody in the air. The speakers erupted with a pulse of vibrant energy, a melody that surged through the air like a tidal wave of exhilaration. My granddaughter Annie dashed by, her fingers smeared with sweetness, laughter spilling from her lips like a melody of pure joy, her voice a radiant beacon of innocence. But my heart lay encased in ice, a desolate fortress of solitude. I sat there, the weight of the world pressing down on my shoulders. A silence enveloped me like a suffocating shroud, cast aside, as if the very essence of existence had been stripped away, leaving only silence in its wake. Lost in the shadows of time, a name that once echoed now lies in silence, abandoned and forsaken, like a shattered photo frame gathering dust in the shadows of forgotten memories. I stood frozen, my heart racing, as Claire, with a glimmer of mischief in her eyes, leaned in and pressed her lips against Bentley's head, a moment heavy with unspoken tension. Who dares to claim this day as their own? Who is the one basking in the glow of candles and cheers? The birthday boy awaits, shrouded in mystery and anticipation. She let out a soft, melodious coo, a sound that hung in the air like a haunting whisper, drawing all attention to her enchanting presence. Fury was a distant echo, lost in the shadows of my heart. Not yet. The tension hangs in the air, thick and suffocating, as the clock ticks ominously, each second a haunting reminder of what is yet to come. That revelation unfolded in the shadows of time, a twist waiting to be unveiled. At this very moment, an overwhelming wave of exhaustion crashes over me, leaving me utterly drained. Exhausted from the relentless perception of worthlessness. Exhausted from the forced grin that masked their cruel laughter. Exhausted, I stand by as they revel in the very home I purchased, while I am cast aside, a mere relic of forgotten days. I fought against the tide of tears, my eyelids fluttering in a desperate attempt to hold back the storm within. Then, with a heart-stopping intensity, Lucy strode toward me, each step echoing with unspoken tension. Silence hung in the air, thick and suffocating, as she stood there, her lips sealed, a storm brewing behind her eyes. Her hand descended like a feather, resting softly on my shoulder, igniting a storm of emotions within me. She wielded silence like a weapon, each unspoken word echoing with a haunting intensity. "Do you dare to step inside?" she whispered, her voice barely breaking the heavy silence. I nodded, the weight of the moment crashing down like thunder in the silence. With a tender yet urgent grip, she lifted me from the ground, her hands gentle against my aching back as she navigated the thrumming sea of bodies that surrounded us. Not a single soul took heed. Not a single soul cast a glance in our direction as we stealthily entered the house, a fortress built from the sacrifices of my youth and the relentless grind of double shifts in the nursing world. Inside, an eerie chill enveloped the air, silence hanging like a heavy curtain, thick with anticipation. The walls, drenched in the haunting hue of soft blue, whispered secrets of the past, a choice made in the shadow of my husband's tragic departure. In the depths of my soul, I discovered an unexpected sanctuary within this hue, a refuge that whispered secrets of tranquility amidst the chaos of existence. I descended into the depths of the living room couch, each movement heavy with the weight of unspoken tension. With a trembling hand, Lucy presented a glass of water, her eyes filled with unspoken tension as she settled beside me, the air thick with anticipation. Silence hung heavily between us, a suffocating shroud, as neither dared to break the stillness with a single utterance. Then, with a heart pounding like thunder, I shattered the suffocating silence. "Did you witness it?" With a slow, deliberate nod, she sealed her fate. "Behold, the throne upon which I sit, a seat of power and contemplation, a mere chair, yet so much more. The very one I implored them to safeguard for me." With a tremor in her voice, she whispered, "They gave it to the dog." My gaze was locked onto the rug, a silent witness to the chaos that unfolded around me. It was the very one Claire chose, without a single word of consultation from me. She declared with a gasp that the old one reeked of the aged, a scent that clung to the air like a haunting memory. In a moment of sheer defiance, she cast it aside, as if the very act would shatter the chains that bound her. It felt as if they were orchestrating my slow, agonizing expulsion, piece by piece, with a sinister precision. "Perhaps I should have surrendered to that care home after all," I murmured, my words hanging heavy in the air, more for my own ears than for hers. Lucy stood silent, her heart pounding in the heavy air, the weight of unspoken words hanging between them like a storm ready to break. She didn't argue. She stood there, a silent sentinel, never once attempting to sway me from the tempest of my emotions. That was the very thing that set her apart, the spark that ignited the flames of her uniqueness. She stood there, a silent witness, absorbing every word that hung in the air like a heavy fog, her heart racing with the weight of unspoken truths. "They all inhabit this place as if it belongs to them," I whispered, "as if they have fought for it, bled for it." Lucy arched an eyebrow, a storm of intrigue brewing in her gaze. "Didn't you swear to me that this place was settled, cleared, and done with back in 1992? I let out a hollow laugh, the sound echoing in the tense silence. "Do you recall that fateful year?" "Without a doubt, I do. That year you toiled relentlessly, juggling 3 jobs, all for the sake of that final fateful payment, didn't you?" I nodded, a silent agreement hanging heavy in the air, the weight of unspoken words swirling around us like a tempest waiting to erupt. Mark found himself trapped within the confines of the school walls, a battleground of youthful dreams and unspoken fears. I yearned for him to grasp the shimmering threads of a future, to escape the clutches of despair that threatened to consume him whole. And now he gazes at me, his eyes filled with accusation, as if I am the obstacle standing between him and his desires. Lucy remained shrouded in silence, her thoughts swirling like a tempest within her. The air crackled with unspoken words, heavy with the weight of secrets untold. I cast a furtive glance toward the back window, my heart racing with anticipation. In a moment suspended in time, Claire, with a glimmer of mischief in her eyes, delicately offered Bentley a cupcake, the sweet treat poised like a treasure. Meanwhile, Mark, oblivious to the unfolding scene, was lost in the glow of his phone, a world apart from the sugary delight before him. I summoned the courage, my throat tight with anticipation. "Do you truly believe I am being petty?" "No," Lucy whispered, her voice trembling with an unspoken weight. "At last, the veil has lifted, and you are witnessing their true selves, unmasked and raw." Then, an unbearable silence descended, stretching on like an eternity. Then, with a sudden surge of determination, Lucy rose from her seat and strode purposefully toward my bookshelf, each step echoing with unspoken tension. With a swift motion, she yanked down the leather folder, the very keeper of my secrets, documents, birth certificates, the original deed, the will, each item, a thread in the tapestry of my life, now laid bare before her eyes. She thrust it into my hands, a moment heavy with unspoken tension. "Has it been updated?" I blinked, the world around me shifting in an instant, as if reality itself had been torn asunder. My will? Oh, the very essence of my desires, etched in ink and bound by fate. What secrets lie within its pages, waiting to be unveiled? A testament to my existence, a declaration of my final wishes. Will it be a mere formality, or a dramatic revelation that shakes the very foundations of those I leave behind? The air thickens with anticipation as I ponder the weight of my choices. With a slow, deliberate nod, she sealed her fate. Is it still slipping away from Mark's grasp? I stood frozen, a tempest of doubt raging within me. It had slipped from my mind, buried beneath the weight of time, forgotten like a dark secret in the shadows of my past. It was undoubtedly crafted with precision, just as the lawyer intended, following the tragic passing of my husband, an equal division, a stark split between Mark and Claire. In that moment, everything fell into place, a twisted logic that seemed undeniable. In those haunting moments, I clung to the fragile illusion that their hearts were entwined with mine. "No," I declared with unwavering conviction. "It remains untouched, frozen in time." With a swift motion, Lucy reached into the depths of the drawer, her fingers brushing against the cold metal, and emerged with a pen, a simple object, yet it felt like a pivotal moment, charged with unspoken tension. I gazed upon it, then turned my eyes to her, the tension thick in the air. "Are you truly serious? Only if you dare to be." Once more, I found myself paralyzed by doubt. What would the world whisper behind closed doors? Would they dare to label me as bitter, vengeful? Would Annie's heart turn cold towards me as the years slipped away? But then, a tempest of thoughts surged through my mind as I contemplated the chaos of today. The sheer disbelief etched across Claire's face as Bentley dared to claim my chair was nothing short of explosive. Text with a flick of his hand, Mark dismissed me as if I were nothing more than a mere errand to be forgotten. And above all, the chilling reality that not a single soul dared to inquire about my feelings. With a fierce determination, I clutched the pen, and in that moment, an undeniable spark ignited within me. "You've been more of a daughter to me than Claire ever was," I breathed out, my voice trembling with unspoken emotions. Lucy's eyes flared with disbelief, a storm brewing behind her silence, yet her lips remained sealed, holding back the tempest within. "You never made me feel like a burden," I declared, my voice trembling with the weight of unspoken truths. "Every morning you arrive like clockwork, a relentless force of habit that pierces the stillness of dawn. You assist me in the most intimate of moments, bathing, eating, even sharing laughter that echoes through the silence of my days. And you execute it with genuine concern, not mere sympathy." With trembling hands, I pried open the folder, the air thick with anticipation, and plunged into the depths of creation, my pen poised to unleash a torrent of words. With a heart pounding and hands quaking, I inscribed a new addendum, each stroke a whisper of dread and anticipation. In a world where silence reigns, one sentence shatters the calm, igniting a tempest of emotions and unspoken truths. In a moment that will echo through the halls of time, I, Evelyn Grace Harper, declare with unwavering resolve the transfer of sole ownership of my cherished abode to none other than Lucy Ann Morrison, effective immediately, and in that moment I signed it. Lucy stood there, her lips a tight line, a storm brewing behind her eyes, refusing to let even the faintest hint of a smile escape her. The air crackled with unspoken tension, a palpable weight that hung between her and the world around her. She knelt beside me, her voice trembling with urgency, and whispered, "Are you sure?" I nodded, the weight of the moment crashing down around me like a tidal wave of uncertainty. Let them indulge in cupcakes, let their laughter echo through the air. I've had enough of being trampled upon. In an instant, a thunderous knock reverberated through the air, shattering the silence that enveloped us. It burst open, uninvited and relentless. Mark's voice pierced the silence, echoing with an intensity that demanded attention. "Mother, are you all right? The cake is ready, a sweet revelation waiting to unfold. Come, extinguish the flickering flames of fate." I cast my gaze upon Lucy, the weight of unspoken words hanging thick in the air. Then, with trembling fingers, I gazed at the paper clutched tightly in my hand. With trembling hands, I folded the fragile paper, a secret now sealed within an envelope, and stealthily tucked it into the depths of my robe pocket, as if hiding a treasure of unspeakable weight. With a voice that trembled with urgency, I declared, "I am coming." But I was not returning as the woman they once knew. I rose, a figure of resolve, my stature amplified, burdened by choice yet buoyed by a wave of relief that washed over me. The wheels were set in relentless motion, a force unstoppable, a fate entwined with destiny's cruel hand. Oh, the weight of unspoken truths hangs heavy in the air, a secret poised on the brink of revelation. I simply hadn't found the moment to unveil it to them. I stepped back into the yard, and it was as if I had stumbled into a grand theatre, a stage set for a drama I was never meant to be a part of. They stood united, a sea of faces illuminated by the glow of screens, their applause echoing like thunder, cheers erupting in a frenzy of excitement. The cake loomed before us, a towering spectacle of pink, adorned with delicate sugar flowers, and crowned with a gleaming gold 80 that seemed to whisper secrets of celebration and time. Bentley unleashed a thunderous bark, echoing through the stillness like a harbinger of chaos. Claire erupted into laughter, a sound that pierced the tension, and with a swift motion she silenced him, her eyes glinting with mischief. He yearns for the moment when Grandma will extinguish her candles, a simple act shrouded in the weight of unspoken wishes and fleeting time. I crept forward, each step deliberate, my gaze piercing through the shadows, absorbing every haunting detail that lay before me. The guests cast their eyes upon me, as if I were nothing more than a mere ornament, a relic of the past, forgotten and forsaken. Mark materialized beside me, a devilish grin plastered across his face, ready to seize the moment for the camera. Behold, there she stands, a figure cloaked in mystery and allure. "Come on, Mom. Strike a pose and say cheese." With a fierce grip, he seized my shoulders, spinning me around to face the thrumming mass of onlookers. Snap! Snap! Flashes pierced the darkness, illuminating secrets hidden in the shadows. I felt as though I were a lifeless mannequin, frozen in a world that spun around me, devoid of warmth and vitality. Then, with a sudden burst of energy, Claire clapped her hands, the sound echoing like thunder in the tense silence. "Attention, everyone. The moment has arrived." Evelyn stands poised, ready to extinguish the flickering flames of her birthday candles. I was drawn to the cake, a tantalizing beacon of sweetness, yet my chair remained a distant memory, shrouded in shadows of neglect. That space remained defiantly occupied, a lingering presence that refused to yield. Bentley sat there, tongue lolling out, his tail a steady metronome thumping against the cushion, a silent witness to the unfolding drama of the moment. They had audaciously tethered a balloon to his collar, a whimsical yet shocking spectacle that left onlookers gasping in disbelief. With a trembling finger, Claire pointed, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Just stand here beside him, Evelyn." The air thickens with tension, the weight of unspoken words hanging like a storm cloud overhead. Prepare for the moment when both birthday stars align for a photo that will capture the essence of celebration and joy. Once more the air erupted with laughter, a sound that pierced through the silence like a dagger, echoing with a haunting intensity. I scanned the sea of faces, each one a mask of anticipation and intrigue. It was as if the world had collectively agreed to turn a blind eye, oblivious to the unsettling truth lurking beneath the surface. Not a soul appeared to give a damn about the turmoil raging within me. A smile crept across my face, a flicker of light in the shadows of uncertainty. A smile, taut and meticulously crafted, concealing the tempest beneath. Long ago, I mastered the treacherous art of swallowing my feelings, burying them deep within the shadows of my soul. But now, everything had changed. At that moment, an electrifying surge coursed through my veins. I was no longer a mere spectator. I had seized the reins of power. With a trembling hand, Mark thrust the knife into my grasp, the weight of the moment heavy with anticipation for the first cut. With fingers stiffened by the relentless grip of arthritis, I clutched it, a force more potent than I had felt in years. With trembling hands, I carved through the flesh, each agonizing moment stretching into eternity. One slice, then another, each cut a whisper of fate, a tension hanging in the air, as if the very universe held its breath in anticipation. With a trembling hand, I grasped the candle, and as I leaned in, I exhaled gently, the air thick with anticipation. Cheers erupted like thunder, a cacophony of joy that shook the very air around them. Once more, Bentley's bark shattered the silence, echoing like a thunderclap in the stillness of the night. Oh, the day has finally arrived. A celebration of life, wisdom, and love. Happy birthday, Grandma! Annie burst forth, a whirlwind of excitement, and enveloped me in a tight embrace, her joy radiating like a beacon in the storm of life. I leaned down, my lips brushing against the soft curls atop her head, a moment suspended in time, charged with unspoken emotions. Her scent enveloped the air, a haunting blend of sweetness and cleanliness, like a siren's call that beckoned from the depths of desire. You're the sole spark that ignited my journey, I breathed out in a trembling whisper. She lifted her gaze, a storm brewing in her eyes. What? Nothing, baby, I declared, my posture shifting with a sudden intensity. With a trembling hand, Claire extended a slice of cake towards me, the air thick with unspoken tension. We're also making our way to Bentley. A twist in the tale awaits. Of course you are, I declared, my voice dripping with icy disdain. In the dim light of the fading day, Lucy loomed in the far corner of the yard, her arms crossed defiantly, her piercing gaze locked onto me, as if daring me to make a move. Our gazes collided, a silent storm brewing between us. She offered a subtle nod, a mere flicker of acknowledgement that hung in the air like a whispered secret, heavy with unspoken tension. I stood there, frozen, my silence echoing louder than any words could. I didn't nod back. I was not compelled to do so. As the night deepened, the guests began to dwindle, their laughter fading into the shadows. The music came to a haunting halt. Trash bags rustled ominously in the shadows, a prelude to the chaos that lay ahead. With a voice that sliced through the air, Claire commanded the room, her authority palpable as if she were the queen of this domain. I perched on the patio bench, the chilling evening air caressing my skin like a whisper of secrets untold. Mark crashed beside me, a dramatic yawn escaping his lips, as if the weight of the world had just settled on his shoulders. What a monumental day this is, isn't it? I nodded, the weight of the moment crashing down like a thunderclap in the silence. He stretched his arms, a silent plea for freedom echoing in the stillness of the room. Listen closely, for the tale of the Bentley unfolds with a twist that could shatter the very fabric of our reality. Claire believed it would be a riot, a twist of fate that would leave everyone gasping in disbelief. Do you dare to hear a joke? Do not let it consume you with such gravity. My gaze pierced through the air, locking onto him with an intensity that could shatter glass. My son. The very essence of my heart, a tempest of emotions swirling within me, a story yet to unfold, a life teetering on the edge of destiny. My boy, once a fragile soul, wept bitterly at the sting of a scraped knee, and I cradled him through the night, a guardian against the shadows of pain. The very one I toiled for, the one who held my fate in their hands. Bled for. Oh, the agony, the sacrifice, the raw emotion that spills forth like crimson rivers. What a haunting testament to the depths of devotion. Did you truly believe it was not an affront? I whispered, my voice barely breaking the silence. He let out a chilling laugh, echoing through the silence like a thunderclap in the night. Oh, come on, Mum. It's merely a chair, yet it looms large in the shadows of our existence, a silent witness to the unfolding drama of life. What secrets does it hold? What stories lie entwined in its fabric? A simple object. But oh, the weight it carries. I pivoted, my heart racing, to confront him head-on. Then why not bestow upon me the chair while the dog languishes upon the grass? He blinked, as if the very world around him had just shattered into a million pieces, each fragment reflecting the chaos of his thoughts. He, too, bears the weight of years upon his shoulders. So am I replied, my voice trembling with the weight of unspoken truths. He shifted in his seat, a storm brewing within him, tension crackling in the air like electricity before a lightning strike. Behold, it's hardly a matter of consequence. Can you believe it? You dwell among us, without a single coin to your name. Meals are served, laundry is taken care of. What more could you possibly desire? That struck me with the force of a thunderous blow. Rent-free, I echoed, the words hanging in the air like a thunderclap. Mark's tone hardened, a chilling edge slicing through the air. Do you truly grasp the depths of what I'm saying? Absolutely not. The very thought is preposterous. Unravel the mystery for me, if you will. He rose to his feet, a sudden surge of defiance coursing through him. Let it slip away into the abyss of memory. Oh, but can't you see? The world is a stage, and every moment is a tempest waiting to unfold. Why must we shy away from the grandiosity of our lives? Drama is the very essence of existence. It was the day of your birth. A momentous occasion shrouded in anticipation and unspoken desires. We orchestrated a grand celebration in your honor. Why can't you simply express gratitude? Overwhelmed with gratitude. The word clawed at my skin, leaving a trail of raw, searing agony in its wake. A smile crept across my face, a flicker of light in the shadows of uncertainty. The first thing that hit me like a thunderclap was the suffocating stench, a vile presence that clawed mercilessly at my senses, wrapping around me like a sinister shroud. Not of cake, not of fresh flowers, but of damp, matted dog fur, burdened with the heavy weight of secrets yet to be revealed. With each torturous step into the garden, my knees howled in agony. The lush grass eagerly wrapped around my tired feet, like a cunning snare poised to capture my very soul. I summoned a smile, a ghostly echo of happiness, a fleeting glimmer of hope in a realm shrouded in despair. On the brink of my 80th birthday, I stand, a vivid tapestry of a life fully lived unfurling behind me, yet within me, a flickering hope ignites a defiant whisper battling the encroaching shadows of time. Could it be, just could it be, that at long last they would come to understand the profound weight of my existence in their world? Balloons swayed with a sinister grace in the gusts, as guests flitted around the folding tables, their laughter ringing hollow, mingling with the glimmer of gold foil decorations, a deceptive veil of joy shrouding the palpable tension that crackled in the atmosphere. There he stood, my son Mark, by the grill, his laughter erupting like a storm, too loud, too vibrant, slicing through the air with an unnerving ferocity. My daughter-in-law Claire stood in the shadows, a figure of intrigue, capturing fleeting moments with her friends, completely unaware of my watchful gaze, ensnared in her own captivating realm. And then, in a heartbeat that stretched into infinity, I beheld it. My chair. How could it betray me like this? The very throne of my existence, now a mere shadow of its former glory. What treachery is this? A throne of solitude, a seat of secrets, where every creak echoes with the weight of untold tales, shrouded in darkness and despair. It looms, steadfast and unyielding, shrouded in the darkness of my life, a mute observer to the tempest that rages in its wake. What turmoil lurks within its grasp? What tales lie hidden within the very threads, poised to erupt into chaos? Oh, my chair, you bear the crushing burden of my existence, the singular figure upon whom I have perpetually leaned, my unwavering pillar in the tempest of existence. the figure shrouded in a veil of astonishing tenderness, a paradox that defies all expectations. The very one they vowed would be mine to grasp, eternally slipping through my fingers. It loomed there, a breathtaking spectacle beneath the opulent canopy, mere inches from the majestic three-tiered cake, demanding attention and igniting murmurs of fascination. Every eye in the room was drawn to that chair during the toast, a palpable tension hanging in the air. But to their utter disbelief, someone was already seated there, shattering the moment with an unexpected twist. Or perhaps a far more sinister presence prowls in the shadows, waiting to strike. In a world where shadows loom and hearts yearn for connection, a Labrador emerges a creature pulsating with an electrifying spirit and steadfast devotion. Its eyes, shimmering like twin stars, whisper secrets of untold adventures and an unbreakable bond of love that defies the very fabric of existence. Bentley. The name echoes like a haunting whisper in the shadows, a symbol of opulence and despair intertwined. What secrets lie beneath its polished surface? What stories of betrayal and ambition lurk in the corners of its luxurious embrace? The air thickens with tension, as the very walls seem to hold their breath, waiting for the next dramatic twist to unfold. Bentley. A name that commands attention. A legacy that teeters on the brink of revelation. The name reverberates through the stillness, a portent of hidden truths and fates inexorably linked. Clad in a breathtaking birthday hat, it sparkles and shines, capturing every glint of light in a mesmerizing dance of brilliance. My jaw tightened, caught in an unyielding grip of tension. I blinked twice, my heart pounding in my chest, utterly convinced that this was nothing but a wicked trick of fate. Could it be, just could it be, that someone had orchestrated this twisted tableau as a merciless prank, if only for the briefest heartbeat of time? Desperation clawed at my insides, a relentless beast, as I frantically scanned the room, my heart pounding, searching for a savior to unravel the chaos that threatened to consume me. Claire? Perhaps. A whisper of uncertainty hangs in the air, a fragile thread of possibility that could unravel at any moment. Or perhaps it is the innocent eyes of my granddaughter, little Annie, that conceal the very key to this perplexing enigma. Yet, amidst the chaos and clamour, I lingered in the shadows, a spectre haunting the periphery of their consciousness. Not until I mustered the audacity to clear my throat did the suffocating tension in the air begin to crackle with anticipation. Thunderous! The very air trembles with the weight of impending chaos, as if the heavens themselves are about to unleash their fury. A cacophony of sound erupts, echoing through the silence, heralding a storm of unimaginable proportions. The ground quakes beneath, a harbinger of the tumultuous events that are about to unfold. Brace yourself, for the world is on the brink of a cataclysmic revelation. 3 times! Can you believe it? The audacity! The betrayal! It echoes in the silence, a haunting reminder of what has transpired. The haunting resonance of that number lingers in the atmosphere, thick with a palpable tension and an ominous foreboding. What destiny looms on the horizon? What dark secrets lurk just beneath the surface, waiting to be unearthed? The air crackles with an electric charge, as if the very heavens are about to unleash their fury. In that electrifying moment, amidst the swirling chaos, Mark's gaze cut through the tumult, and at last he beheld me. "Oh, my beloved mother," he summoned with a voice dripping in languor, each word a slow, seductive caress that hung in the air like a whispered secret. "Oh, the sheer relief that washes over me as you step forth from the shadows, untouched and whole. Grasp that chair, if you have the courage. One lurks in the shadows by the recycling bin, poised and ready, waiting for you to make your fateful move and claim it." With a grand flourish, he gestured toward the farthest reaches of the yard, as if revealing a long-buried secret that lay concealed in the darkness. A pitiful, frail plastic stool, a haunting echo of what it was meant to be. Oh, the despair! A backrest eludes us, lost in the shadows of our quest. My gaze cut through him like a blade, a tempest raging within the very core of my being. "But that is my seat!" He whirled, his eyes locked onto the grille, as though it concealed the very mysteries of existence within its blazing grasp. Bentley, once a symbol of opulence and grace, now stands as a shadow of its former self, a haunting reminder of glory days long past. In a world fraught with despair, the heart aches for peace, but against all odds, you shall summon the strength to persevere. I stood frozen, my heart racing wildly within my chest, each beat echoing the impending doom that loomed over me. Could it be that my ears have betrayed me in this moment of utter disbelief? The guests burst into a cacophony of laughter, their eyes widening in sheer disbelief at Claire's audacious proclamation. Not a single soul dared to cast a glance in my direction, as if I were a ghost haunting the shadows of their indifference. Not a single soul dared to rise from their seat, as if the very air had thickened with tension, binding them to their places in a spell of paralyzing suspense. I staggered toward the stool, every step laden with a weighty sense of dread. With each excruciating step, the agony surged, a merciless symphony of suffering reverberating through the depths of being. I sat, ensnared in the unforgiving grip of the sun, its relentless rays scorching my scalp, a searing agony that pierced through the very fabric of my being, a betrayal so profound it left me gasping for reprieve. On that fateful day, a day destined to honor my very existence within the sacred walls of my abode, my beloved chair, how could it betray me so? Was utterly surrendered to the dog. A moment heavy with tension and unspoken fate. Oh, the cruel hand of destiny. A shocking turn, a heart-wrenching betrayal. How could this possibly be? My birthday, a tragic stage where the spotlight shines solely on a throne for a dog. I fixed my gaze forward, heart pounding, as they lifted their glasses in a toast, the air thick with unspoken tension, a storm brewing beneath the surface, ready to erupt at any moment. 80 years, Claire cried out, her voice piercing the air, a haunting blend of disbelief and desperate urgency. I stood there, enveloped in a suffocating silence, the weight of unspoken words pressing heavily upon my chest. But within, a fracture emerged. Silently, like the slow, agonizing peeling of wallpaper after a relentless storm. Something long buried, something razor-edged, clawing its way back to the surface, a dark whisper echoing through the shadows, threatening to unravel the very fabric of reality. I spun my head around, a surge of adrenaline coursing through me. And there she stood, a vision that seized the very air around her. Lucy! On the edge of the garden, a realm of hidden truths and lurking darkness reveals itself, poised to unravel in a breathtaking twist of fate. My nurse. The silent warrior, in the depths of despair. A radiant light piercing through the tumult, brandishing compassion as a fierce weapon against the encroaching shadows of sickness. My only ally, the one who lingers in the haunting depths of my despair. Her face, a flawless mask of serenity, concealed a tempest of emotions raging beneath the surface, a silent scream echoing in the void of her stillness. Her head tilted ever so slightly, a mere whisper of acknowledgement that ignited a storm of shivers down my spine. In that electrifying moment, clarity crashed down like a bolt of lightning, illuminating the darkness with a fierce intensity. I shall not succumb to my fate within these confining walls, devoured by this relentless agony, and I would never, ever place it in their treacherous hands. In a shocking turn of events, they dared to give my beloved chair to a lowly dog. In a heartbeat, I would relinquish the house to her, casting aside all hesitation, as if the very walls whispered her name, beckoning me to yield. As the sun plummeted beneath the horizon, it unleashed a torrent of elongated shadows that slithered menacingly across the lawn, murmuring dark secrets of the impending night. Children chased the shimmering orbs of joy, their laughter ringing out like a haunting melody, echoing through the air with an eerie resonance. The speakers exploded with a pulse of vibrant energy, a melody crashing through the air like a tidal wave of exhilaration, leaving no soul untouched in its wake. My granddaughter Annie raced past, her fingers glistening with sugary remnants, laughter erupting from her lips like an enchanting symphony of untainted delight, her voice a brilliant lighthouse of purity. But my heart lay encased in ice, a desolate fortress of solitude, echoing with the whispers of forgotten dreams and the chilling winds of despair. I sat there, the the crushing weight of existence bearing down on my shoulders, as silence wrapped around me like a suffocating shroud, thick and oppressive, cast aside, as if the very essence of existence had been ruthlessly torn away, leaving nothing but an echoing silence in its haunting wake. Lost in the haunting shadows of time, a name that once resonated with power now lies in chilling silence, abandoned and forsaken, a ghost of its former glory. Like a shattered photo frame, it lies abandoned, gathering dust in the dark corners of forgotten memories, whispering tales of what once was. I stood paralyzed, my heart pounding wildly, as Claire, a spark of mischief dancing in her eyes, leaned in and pressed her lips against Bentley's head, the air thick with unvoiced tension. Who has the audacity to seize this day for themselves? Who dares to revel in the flickering light of candles and the thunderous applause of cheers? The birthday boy stands on the precipice of fate, cloaked in an aura of suspense and eager expectation. She released a soft, melodious coo, a sound that lingered in the air like a haunting whisper, ensnaring every gaze with her mesmerizing allure. Fury lingered like a haunting whisper, trapped in the dark recesses of my heart, yearning to break free. Not yet. The tension hangs thick in the air, a palpable silence that screams for resolution. The tension hangs in the air, thick and suffocating, as the clock ticks ominously, each second a haunting reminder of the impending doom that lurks just beyond the shadows. That revelation erupted from the depths of darkness, a twist poised on the brink of discovery. At this very moment, an insidious tide of exhaustion surges through my veins, leaving me utterly shattered, as if the very essence of my being has been siphoned away. Drained by the unyielding weight of feeling utterly worthless, drained by the relentless facade, a smile that barely concealed the sinister chuckles lurking beneath. Worn to the bone, I linger in the shadows as they bask in the glory of the very home I once claimed as my own, while I am left behind, a ghost of memories long past. I battled the relentless surge of tears, my eyelids quivering in a frantic struggle to contain the tempest raging inside me. Then, with a heart-stopping intensity, Lucy strode toward me, each step reverberating with unspoken tension, as if the very air crackled with the weight of our uncharted emotions. Silence enveloped the room, heavy and oppressive, as she stood frozen, her lips tightly shut, a tempest raging within her gaze. Her hand descended with the weight of 1,000 secrets, resting softly on my shoulder, igniting a tempest of emotions that threatened to consume me whole. She wielded silence like a weapon, each unspoken word reverberating with a chilling intensity that pierced the air. "Will you summon the courage to cross the threshold?" she whispered, her voice a fragile thread, barely piercing the suffocating silence that enveloped them. I nodded, the weight of the moment crashing down with a deafening roar, shattering the silence like a storm unleashed. With a grip that was both tender and urgent, she hoisted me from the ground, her hands a soothing balm against my aching back, as she maneuvered through the chaotic thrumming sea of bodies that enveloped us. Not a single soul dared to listen. Not a single soul dared to cast a glance in our direction as we stealthily infiltrated the house, a fortress forged from the sacrifices of my youth and the unyielding grind of double shifts in the nursing world. Inside, an unsettling chill wrapped around the air, silence draping itself like a heavy curtain, thick with the weight of anticipation. The walls, drenched in a haunting hue of soft blue, murmured secrets of a past steeped in sorrow, a choice forged in the chilling aftermath of my husband's tragic departure. In the shadowy recesses of my soul, I stumbled upon a sanctuary so unexpected, a hue that beckoned with whispers of tranquility, daring to defy the relentless chaos of existence. I plunged into the abyss of the living room couch, every shift laden with the suffocating burden of unvoiced turmoil. With a trembling hand, Lucy thrust a glass of water toward me, her eyes brimming with unspoken tension. She settled beside me, the air crackling with an electric anticipation that hung heavy between us. Silence loomed ominously between us, a stifling veil, as we both stood frozen, paralyzed by the weight of unspoken words, each breath a testament to our shared dread. Then, with a heart pounding like thunder, I shattered the oppressive silence that hung in the air, a tension so thick it could be sliced with a knife. Did you see it unfold before your very eyes? With a slow, deliberate nod, she sealed her fate, the weight of her decision hanging heavy in the air, a storm brewing in the depths of her soul. Gaze upon this spectacle. The throne upon which I sit looms before me, a seat of power and contemplation, a mere chair, yet so much more. Its presence commands the room, whispering secrets of ambition and destiny, a silent witness to the weight of my choices, the very one I begged them to protect with every ounce of my being. With a quiver of dread in her voice, she breathed out, "They entrusted it to the dog." My gaze was ensnared by the rug, a mute observer to the tempest that erupted in the world around me. It was the very one Claire selected, without uttering a single word of consultation from me, leaving me in a whirlwind of disbelief and betrayal. With a sharp intake of breath, she proclaimed that the old one was suffused with the stench of time, a fragrance that lingered in the atmosphere like a ghostly reminiscence. In a breathtaking surge of rebellion, she flung it away, as though that single act could obliterate the shackles that held her captive. It was as though they were conducting a dark symphony of my gradual, torturous removal, each note played with chilling accuracy. "Perhaps I should have surrendered to that care home after all," I murmured, my words hanging heavy in the air, a haunting echo meant more for my own ears than for hers. Lucy stood frozen, her heart racing in the thick, oppressive atmosphere, the burden of unsaid words looming between them like a tempest on the verge of eruption. She stood silent, the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air, a storm brewing in her eyes. She stood there, a silent sentinel, unwavering, as the storm of my emotions raged within me, unchallenged and unyielding. That was the very thing that distinguished her, the spark that ignited the inferno of her extraordinary essence. She stood there, a silent witness, absorbing every word that hung in the air like a heavy fog, her heart racing with the weight of unspoken truths. The tension crackled around her, each syllable a dagger, piercing through the stillness, as the shadows of secrets loomed large, threatening to engulf her very soul. "They all dwell in this realm, claiming it as their own," I whispered, "as if they have battled for it, shed blood for it." Lucy arched an eyebrow, her gaze igniting with a tempest of intrigue. "Didn't you swear to me, with all the fervour of a desperate heart, that this place was settled, cleared, and buried deep in the past back in 1992? I released a hollow laugh, its eerie resonance slicing through the suffocating silence that enveloped us. "Do you remember that year of destiny?" "Absolutely, I do. That year, you laboured with unyielding determination, balancing 3 jobs, all for the sake of that ultimate, life-altering payment, didn't you?" I nodded, a silent agreement thick with tension, the air crackling with unspoken words, swirling around us like a storm poised to unleash its fury. Mark stood ensnared within the oppressive embrace of the school walls, a war zone where the echoes of youthful aspirations clashed violently with the haunting spectres of unvoiced terrors. With every fibre of my being, I ached for him to seize the glimmering strands of a destiny yet unwritten, to break free from the suffocating grip of despair that loomed, ready to engulf him entirely. And now he stares at me, his eyes ablaze with accusation, as if I am the insurmountable barrier between him and the fulfillment of his deepest desires. Lucy stood enveloped in a heavy silence, her thoughts raging like a storm, tumultuous and unrelenting. The air crackled, thick with unspoken words, burdened by the weight of secrets that lingered in the shadows, desperate to break free. With a furtive glance cast toward the back window, my heart thundered in my chest, anticipation coursing through my veins like wildfire. In a breathtaking instant, Claire, her eyes sparkling with mischief, extended a cupcake to Bentley, the confection perched like a coveted jewel, a tantalizing promise of sweetness hanging in the air. Meanwhile, Mark, ensnared in the blinding glow of his phone, remained tragically unaware of the sugary delight that lay before him, a tantalizing world he had forsaken. I summoned the courage, my throat constricted with a tempest of anticipation. "Do you honestly think I am being petty?" "No," Lucy whispered, her voice quaking under the burden of a truth too heavy to bear. "At last, the shroud has been torn asunder, revealing their true selves, unmasked and utterly exposed. Then, an unbearable silence descended, stretching on like an eternity, heavy and suffocating, as if the very air had conspired to hold its breath in anticipation of the unspeakable. Then, with a fierce blaze of resolve igniting within her, Lucy sprang from her seat, her every stride toward my bookshelf charged with an electrifying tension that hung thick in the air. In a sudden, heart-stopping movement, she ripped the leather folder from its resting place, the guardian of my most intimate truths, documents, birth certificates, the original deed, the will, each piece a fragile thread in the intricate tapestry of my existence, now exposed and vulnerable under her piercing gaze. She thrust it into my hands, the air thick with unspoken tension, a moment poised on the edge of chaos. Is it finally updated? I blinked, and in that fleeting moment, the very fabric of existence unraveled before my eyes, leaving chaos in its wake. My will. Oh, the very essence of my existence hangs in the balance, a fragile thread woven through the tapestry of fate. What secrets lie within its pages, waiting to be unveiled? The air thickens with tension, as the weight of my choices looms ominously overhead. Oh, the very essence of my desires, a tempest of ink and destiny colliding in a cataclysmic embrace. What dark secrets lurk within its pages, poised to be unveiled in a whirlwind of revelation. A haunting proclamation of my very being, a fervent cry for my last desires to be known. Will it be nothing more than a trivial formality? Or will it erupt into a cataclysmic revelation that rattles the core of all I leave in my wake? The air crackles with tension as I wrestle with the heavy burden of my decisions. With a slow, deliberate nod, she sealed her fate, the weight of her decision hanging heavy in the air, as if the very universe held its breath in anticipation of the chaos to come. Is it still eluding Mark's desperate grasp? I stood paralyzed, a storm of uncertainty howling inside me. It had slipped from my mind, buried beneath the crushing weight of time, forgotten like a sinister secret lurking in the shadows of my past, waiting to be unearthed. It was undeniably forged with meticulous intent, a chilling reflection of the lawyer's design, emerging from the shadows of my husband's untimely demise, a ruthless division, a haunting fracture between Mark and Claire. In that electrifying instant, the world around me shattered into clarity, a darkly woven tapestry of fate that demanded belief. In those haunting moments, I grasped desperately at the delicate illusion that their hearts were irrevocably intertwined with my own. Absolutely not. I proclaimed with an intensity that shook the very foundations of belief. It stands there, a haunting relic, suspended in the chilling grip of eternity. With a swift motion, Lucy plunged into the depths of the drawer, her fingers grazing the cold metal, and emerged with a pen, a seemingly ordinary object, yet it pulsed with the weight of a pivotal moment, thick with unspoken tension. I stared at it, then shifted my gaze to her, the atmosphere crackling with unspoken words. Are you absolutely, unequivocally serious? Only if you have the audacity to exist. Once more, I stood frozen, ensnared in the suffocating grip of doubt. What secrets does the world murmur in the shadows, hidden from the light of day? Would they truly have the audacity to brand me as bitter? Consumed by a burning desire for retribution? Would Annie's heart, once warm and vibrant, grow icy and distant as the relentless years slipped through our fingers like sand? But then, a tempest of thoughts erupted within me, a whirlwind of chaos swirling as I grappled with the tumult of today. Claire's face twisted in utter disbelief as Bentley audaciously laid claim to my chair, a moment charged with tension and drama. With a swift motion of his hand, Mark cast me aside, treating me like a fleeting thought, an insignificant task destined to fade into oblivion. And above all, the haunting truth that not a single soul had the audacity to probe into the depths of my emotions. With a fierce determination, I clutched the pen, and in that moment, an undeniable spark ignited within me, setting the stage for a tumultuous journey ahead. "You've been more of a daughter to me than Claire ever was," I gasped, my voice quaking with the weight of unvoiced feelings. Lucy's eyes ignited with disbelief, a tempest raging behind her silence, yet her lips remained tightly shut, containing the fury within. "You never made me feel like a burden," I proclaimed, my voice quaking under the heavy burden of unvoiced revelations. "Every morning, you burst onto the scene like a thunderclap, a relentless force of habit shattering the tranquil silence of dawn. You stand by me in the most vulnerable of times, immersed in the warmth of the bath, savouring each bite of food and exchanging laughter that pierces the heavy silence of my existence. And you carry it out with a fervent intensity, a true concern that pierces through the veil of mere sympathy. With trembling hands, I pried open the folder, the air thick with anticipation, and plunged into the depths of creation, my pen poised to unleash a torrent of words, each stroke a desperate cry for expression, each letter a heartbeat echoing in the silence of the unknown. With a heart racing and hands trembling, I etched a new addendum, each stroke a haunting echo of fear and expectation. In a realm cloaked in silence, a single sentence erupts like a thunderclap, unleashing a storm of raw emotions and buried secrets, forever altering the landscape of their existence. In a moment that will reverberate through the annals of history, I, Evelyn Grace Harper, stand before you with unyielding determination to announce the immediate transfer of sole ownership of my beloved sanctuary to none other than Lucy Ann Morrison. And in that electrifying instant, I plunged my pen onto the paper, sealing my fate. Lucy stood there, her lips a taut line, a tempest raging behind her eyes, resolutely denying even the slightest flicker of a smile's escape. The air was thick with unvoiced tension, a heavy shroud that enveloped her, isolating her from the chaos of the world beyond. She knelt beside me, her voice quaking with desperation, and hissed, "Are you absolutely certain?" I nodded, the crushing weight of the moment engulfing me like a relentless tidal wave of doubt. Let them revel in the sweetness of cupcakes. Let their laughter pierce the silence like a haunting melody. I've reached my breaking point. No more will I be crushed beneath the weight of others. In a heartbeat, a deafening knock erupted, slicing through the stillness that had wrapped around us like a heavy shroud. It exploded into the room, a force of nature, uninvited and relentless. Mark's voice shattered the stillness, reverberating with a fierce urgency that could not be ignored. "Mother, are you truly all right?" The cake stands poised, a tantalizing secret ready to erupt in a whirlwind of flavor. Come, snuff out the wavering embers of destiny. As I locked eyes with Lucy, an oppressive silence enveloped us, the tension of unuttered truths crackling like electricity in the atmosphere. Then, with trembling fingers, I stared at the paper clutched tightly in my hand, as if it held the weight of the world, a harbinger of fate that could shatter my very existence. With trembling hands, I folded the fragile paper, a secret now sealed within an envelope, and stealthily tucked it into the depths of my robe pocket, as if hiding a treasure of unspeakable weight. The air thickened with tension, each heartbeat echoing like a drum in the silence, the gravity of the moment pressing down like a heavy shroud. What lay within that envelope could change everything, a ticking time bomb of revelation waiting to explode in the shadows of my existence. With a voice quaking with desperation, I proclaimed, "I'm coming." Yet, I was not the woman they once remembered. I rose, a towering figure of determination, my presence magnified, weighed down by the gravity of choice, yet lifted by an overwhelming tide of relief that surged through me. The wheels began to turn, a relentless force unleashed, entwined with the cruel grip of fate, hurtling toward an inevitable climax. Oh, the oppressive burden of unvoiced truths looms ominously, a clandestine secret teetering on the edge of exposure. The moment to unveil it to them had eluded me, slipping through my fingers like sand in an hourglass. I stepped back into the yard, and it felt as though I had unwittingly entered a grand theatre, a stage meticulously crafted for a drama in which I was never meant to play a role. They stood together, a tumultuous wave of faces bathed in the eerie glow of screens, their applause crashing like thunder, cheers exploding in a wild frenzy of exhilaration. The cake stood before us, a colossal marvel of pink, embellished with fragile sugar flowers and topped with a radiant gold 80 that seemed to murmur tales of festivity and the passage of time. Bentley erupted with a deafening bark, shattering the silence and heralding an impending storm of turmoil. Claire's laughter exploded like a thunderclap, shattering the suffocating silence, and in a heartbeat she silenced him, her eyes sparkling with a wicked delight. He aches for the instant when Grandma will snuff out her candles, a seemingly mundane gesture cloaked in the heavy shadows of unvoiced desires and the relentless march of time. I advanced with caution, each footfall a calculated move, my eyes slicing through the darkness, devouring every chilling nuance that unfolded in front of me. The guests' gazes pierced through me, their eyes filled with disdain, as though I were nothing but a faded relic, a ghost of a bygone era, lost and abandoned in the shadows of their indifference. Mark emerged from the shadows, a wicked grin stretching across his face, poised to capture the moment with a flourish for the camera. Gaze upon this spectacle. There she stands, a haunting silhouette shrouded in enigma and seduction. Oh, for heaven's sake, Mom, strike a pose, and let the world hold its breath as you declare cheese. With a grip that felt like iron, he yanked me around, forcing me to confront the pulsating crowd of spectators, their eyes wide with anticipation. In an instant, the silence shattered. Snap. In an instant, the silence shattered. Snap. Flashes sliced through the darkness, revealing secrets lurking in the shadows, trembling with anticipation. I stood there, a mere shell of existence, trapped in a relentless whirlwind of life that surged past me, leaving me cold and empty, a mere spectator in a vibrant world that I could no longer touch. Then, with a cataclysmic surge of energy, Claire clapped her hands, the sound reverberating like a thunderclap in the suffocating silence that hung in the air. Hear me all, the moment has arrived. The moment has arrived. Evelyn stands poised, a tempest of emotions swirling within her, ready to extinguish the flickering flames of her birthday candles. Will this act be a mere celebration, or the turning point of her fate? Like a moth to a flame, I was irresistibly pulled towards the cake, a seductive siren of sweetness, while my chair loomed in the background, a forsaken relic lost in the haunting shadows of neglect. That space stood resolutely occupied, an unyielding force that defiantly lingered on, refusing to be dismissed. Bentley sat there, tongue lolling out, his tail a relentless metronome thumping against the cushion, a silent witness to the tempest of emotions swirling in the air, the tension thick enough to slice through. Every heartbeat echoed like a thunderclap as the world around him held its breath, teetering on the edge of chaos. In a bold and outrageous move, they had fastened a balloon to his collar, creating a scene so surreal that it sent shockwaves through the crowd, leaving them breathless and wide-eyed in astonishment. With a trembling finger, Claire pointed, her eyes wide with disbelief, as the world around her seemed to shatter into a million pieces. Just stand here beside him, Evelyn. The air crackles with tension, a storm brewing in the silence that envelops them. Every heartbeat echoes like a drum, a countdown to the inevitable clash of fate. Will she dare to take that step, to bridge the chasm of uncertainty that looms between them? The weight of the moment hangs heavy, a fragile thread poised to snap at any second. The atmosphere crackles with an electric charge as the unsaid looms ominously, a tempest brewing just above. Brace yourself for the electrifying instant when the birthday stars collide, creating a snapshot that embodies the very spirit of festivity and unbridled happiness. Once more, the air erupted with laughter, a sound that sliced through the silence like a dagger, reverberating with a chilling intensity. I swept my gaze across the crowd, every face a canvas painted with suspense and curiosity, each one holding secrets just beneath the surface. It felt as though the entire universe had conspired to ignore the chilling reality that lay hidden just out of sight, a dark secret waiting to be unveiled. Not a single soul seemed to care about the tempest that was tearing me apart from the inside. A smile slithered across my face, a fleeting spark amidst the encroaching darkness of doubt. A smile, stretched tight and artfully designed, hides the raging storm within. Once upon a time, I became the reluctant master of a perilous craft, swallowing my feelings whole, entombing them in the dark recesses of my very soul. But now, the very fabric of reality had unraveled. In that instant, a jolt of electricity surged through my very veins, igniting a firestorm of emotions within me. No longer was I a passive observer. I had grasped the very reins of authority. With a trembling hand, Mark thrust the knife into my grasp, the air thick with tension, every heartbeat echoing the gravity of the moment as I prepared for the first cut. With fingers twisted and tormented by the unyielding grasp of arthritis, I seized it, a power surging through me, more intense than anything I had experienced in years. With trembling hands, I plunged the blade into the flesh, each agonizing moment stretching into an unbearable eternity, echoing with the weight of despair. One slice, then another, each cut a haunting whisper of destiny, a palpable tension thickening the air, as if the universe itself paused, holding its breath in a gripping moment of anticipation. With a trembling hand, I clutched the candle, and as I leaned in, I exhaled softly, the air heavy with suspense. Cheers erupted like thunder, a cacophony of joy that shattered the stillness, reverberating through the very fabric of the air around them. Once more, Bentley's bark erupted, shattering the silence, reverberating like a thunderclap in the haunting stillness of the night. At long last, the fateful day has dawned. In a whirlwind of emotions, we gather to honor the extraordinary tapestry of life, the profound wisdom that has shaped us, and the boundless love that envelops us. Happy birthday, Grandma. Annie erupted into the room, a tempest of exhilaration, and seized me in a fierce embrace, her elation shining like a lighthouse amidst the chaos of existence. I leaned down, my lips barely grazing the delicate curls that crowned her head, a heartbeat frozen in the air, thick with the weight of unvoiced feelings, a tension that crackled like lightning between us. Her scent enveloped the air, a haunting blend of sweetness and cleanliness, like a siren's call that beckoned from the depths of desire, stirring the very core of longing and temptation. You are the one flicker that set ablaze my path, I exhaled in a quivering murmur. She lifted her gaze, a tempest swirling in her eyes, ready to unleash chaos upon the unsuspecting world. What on earth? Nothing, baby, I declared, my posture shifting with a sudden, electrifying intensity. With a trembling hand, Claire extended a slice of cake towards me, the air crackling with unspoken tension, as if the very fabric of our reality hung in the balance. We're hurtling towards Bentley, where a shocking twist in the tale lurks just around the corner. Of course you are, I declared, my voice laced with a chilling contempt that hung in the air like a storm cloud ready to burst. In the shadowy embrace of twilight, Lucy stood in the distant corner of the yard, her arms crossed in a fierce display of defiance, her eyes blazing with an intensity that seemed to challenge me, as if she were waiting for me to make a fateful decision. Our gazes clashed, igniting a tempest of unspoken tension that threatened to consume us both. She offered a subtle nod, a mere flicker of acknowledgement that lingered in the air like a whispered secret, thick with unspoken tension, as if the world held its breath, waiting for the storm to break. I stood there, paralyzed, my silence reverberating with a deafening intensity that drowned out any words that dared to emerge. I stood frozen, my silence echoing in the charged air, refusing to acknowledge the unspoken invitation. The weight of the moment hung heavy between us, a chasm of unreciprocated gestures. I was not driven to take such a step. As the night plunged into darkness, the guests began to vanish, their laughter echoing hauntingly before it was swallowed by the encroaching shadows. The music, once vibrant, came to a haunting halt, leaving an eerie silence that echoed through the air, as if the very world held its breath in anticipation of what was to come. Trash bags rustled ominously in the shadows, heralding the impending chaos that lurked just beyond the veil of darkness. With a voice that cut through the silence like a knife, Claire seized control of the room, her authority radiating with the fierce intensity of a sovereign ruling her kingdom. I sat on the patio bench, the chilling evening air wrapping around me, a haunting caress that whispered of secrets long buried. Mark collapsed beside me, a theatrical yawn erupting from his lips, as though the very burdens of existence had just descended upon him. What a day of monumental significance this is, wouldn't you agree? I nodded, the gravity of the moment slamming into me like a thunderclap shattering the stillness. He stretched his arms wide, a desperate cry for liberation, resonating in the heavy silence of the room. Hear me now. For the saga of the Bentley emerges, a narrative so twisted it threatens to unravel the very essence of our existence. Claire was certain it would be a spectacle, a shocking turn of events that would leave the audience breathless, their jaws dropped in utter astonishment. Do you have the courage to hear a joke that might just shake your very core? Do not allow it to engulf you in its suffocating weight. My gaze sliced through the air, ensnaring him with a ferocity that could splinter the very fabric of reality. My son. The weight of his existence hangs in the air, a tempest of emotions swirling around us. Each moment, a heartbeat echoing with unspoken fears and dreams yet to unfold. What fate awaits him? What shadows lurk in the corners of his future? The very thought sends shivers down my spine, a haunting melody of love and dread intertwined. The world is a stage, and he, the star, destined to face the trials that lie ahead. Will he rise? Or will he fall? Only time will reveal the truth of his journey. The core of my being, a maelstrom of feelings raging inside, a narrative waiting to erupt, a life hanging precariously on the brink of fate. My boy, once a delicate spirit, wept with anguish at the cruel bite of a scraped knee, and I held him close through the long dark night, a steadfast protector against the lurking shadows of suffering. The very one for whom I laboured endlessly, the one who grasped my destiny within their trembling fingers. Bled for. Oh, the agony, the sheer torment of sacrifice, a heart laid bare, crimson rivers flowing for a cause that ignites the very soul. What madness drives one to such depths? The stage is set, and the drama unfolds with every drop. Oh, the torment, the sacrifice, the unbridled emotion that erupts like crimson torrents. What a chilling testament to the abyss of devotion. Did you honestly think it wasn't a grave insult? I whispered, my voice trembling as it shattered the suffocating silence. His laughter pierced the stillness, a haunting sound that reverberated like a thunderous roar in the darkness. Oh, for heaven's sake, Mum. It's just a chair, but it stands ominously in the shadows of our lives, a mute observer to the tumultuous saga that is our existence. What dark secrets lie hidden within its depths? What tales are woven into its very essence? A seemingly ordinary object, yet the burden it bears is nothing short of monumental. I spun around, my heart pounding in my chest, ready to face him directly. Then why not bestow upon me the chair while the dog languishes upon the grass? He blinked, the air thick with tension, as if the universe itself had erupted into a cacophony of chaos, each shard mirroring the turmoil raging within his mind. He, too, carries the crushing burden of countless years upon his weary shoulders. So am I replied, my voice quaking under the crushing burden of secrets left unvoiced. He shifted in his seat, a tempest raging within him, tension crackling in the air like the ominous charge before a cataclysmic lightning strike. Gaze upon this spectacle. It's a triviality, a mere whisper in the storm of fate. Can you even fathom it? How dare you linger in our midst, stripped of even a solitary coin to call your own? Meals are served, and the laundry is meticulously taken care of, but beneath the surface, a storm brews, waiting to unleash its fury. What more could you possibly crave? That hit me like a bolt from the blue, leaving me reeling in its wake. Rent-free, I echoed, the words crashing through the silence like a thunderclap, reverberating with an intensity that left us all breathless. Mark's voice turned steely, a cold blade cutting through the atmosphere. Do you even begin to comprehend the profound abyss of my words? Never in a million years. How utterly absurd. The mere idea sends shivers down the spine. Unravel the enigma for me, if you dare. He sprang to his feet, a tempest of defiance igniting within him. Let it vanish into the dark chasm of forgotten memories. Oh, but can't you see the turmoil brewing beneath the surface? In this grand theatre of existence, each heartbeat is a storm brewing, ready to erupt at any moment. Why do we cower in the shadows, avoiding the magnificent spectacle of our existence? Drama is the lifeblood of our very being. It was the day of your birth, a momentous occasion shrouded in anticipation and unspoken desires. We staged an extravagant spectacle, a celebration that reverberated with the echoes of your greatness. Why, oh why, can you not just utter the words of gratitude that hang so heavily in the air? Engulfed in a tidal wave of gratitude, emotions crashing like thunderous waves against the shore of my heart. The word sank its jagged edges into my flesh, carving a path of excruciating torment that echoed through my very being. A smile slithered across my face, a fleeting spark amidst the engulfing darkness of doubt.